Hey guys, I'm Phil Collen from Def Leppard. Welcome to the Brotherhood of the Guitar. I'm just going to share some stuff that I've picked up along the way, a bit of experience and stuff to help you with your tools of the trade or whatever you're going to actually use the guitar for. But the most important part I've found about guitar, or actually in any instrument actually, is the artistic expression, and that's the fulfillment part that you get from actually the joy of playing a guitar. You know, you get to release. It's almost like learning to fly. You can do stuff you never dreamed you'd be able to do, and you have an expression that's actually totally yours. A lot of people get into it these days, not for artistic reasons, but they just want to be famous and rich, and that usually doesn't work out that way. The fulfillment comes from the instrument and the fun that you have with it, and the spiritual kind of enlightenment almost that you actually get out of it. Any fame or money and that stuff is usually a bonus. If you're lucky enough to have that, great. But a lot of people are sorely, disappointed because they don't get that, and that's the reason they go into it. The great thing is actually being able to play and actually having this expression and having this tool or a valve that you can actually just let off and kind of write songs, play guitar, make pieces and everything. It's fantastic. And I couldn't stress enough how important it was for me being a teenager. I never suffered any of the teenage angst stuff that all my buddies did, because I had a valve that actually just allowed me to kind of create. And like I said, that's the most important part. So it's really simple, and the fulfillment and the joy all comes from that. And so it's about you and not about other people. A lot of people end up just emulating one person, so they just sound like that. But what it really comes down to is actually, it's a deeper thing than that. It's actually being a bit narrow-minded. I think you have to let everything in. I love all kinds of music. I listen to dubstep, soul, funk, reggae, jazz, metal, everything, and I actually really like it. Pop music. I think some of the current pop stuff is amazing. I think it's very artistic. It's so well done. And I think you have to be very open about it. You haven't got to prove anything to anyone. I think that it's great just letting all different influences in, and not necessarily just guitar, just picking up melodies. I traveled to India. I mean, the first time I went there, I came back with all these kind of different melodies that I'd just been hearing floating around. And I think you can, incorporate that into your guitar playing and not just make stuff up. You haven't got to be a version of someone else. You've got to be a version of yourself. And that involves, just being open-minded and everything. And you'll find that works in other areas of life as well. It actually, the more you let in, the more you can actually put out. Some people are really cut off, live in remote locations and everything, kind of get bummed that they can't be part of this whole thing, the music industry. The music business is not a very nice place. The actual art part of it is wonderful, and you can do that anywhere. That's the great thing about, being a guitar player or a musician or something. You can actually totally immerse yourself in that, and you haven't got to be anywhere else. And I think it's you create your own landscape, if you like. I certainly did that, just growing up. I was just allowed to just make stuff up myself, and that's the great thing about being in a remote place. No one actually bothers you with it, so you can actually create symphonies on your own. It's a great thing. There's a weird thing attached with especially rock music, that a lot of people think you have to be high or out of it, and it's cool and everything. But really what that means is that you're not very secure with yourself. I'm very secure with myself. That's why I run around naked half the time on stage. But one of the things, I stopped drinking and doing all sorts of things just before we started the Hysteria tour. So that's 26, almost 27 years ago. That was the last time I had a drink. And at the first week or two, I felt a bit weird. I felt kind of intimidated and scared and not confident. And really, that's what that's about. So if you want to be out of it and you want to appear to be drunk and that, it's not actually that cool, because you can't really function that well. I started functioning a lot better once I got over that first hurdle, and I had more confidence than I ever had, because it was actually based on me, not about someone thinking, oh, I look cool because I'm stumbling all over the place. At the same time, my best friend at the time, Steve Clark, we were drinking buddies, and we used to get really messed up together and had a great time. But I stopped, he carried on, and it killed him. And it was awful. You know, we'd have these discussions for hours about it. And I said, Steve, you really got to stop. You got to do this. This is not cool. And he said, I know, I hate it. I hate myself. And so that's just to let you know, that's where it ends up a lot of the time, especially actually if you don't have success, you get depressed and then get really screwed up. And if you do have it, everyone's just shoving all this stuff in your face, and you don't even know what's going on. So I think if you're really cool and you're confident and you think you're cool, I actually think I am, then I'm still around, you know, and I actually do whatever I want to do as opposed to what someone else thinks I should do. From a business standpoint, it's everything's kind of changed in the industry. It's harder. You know, you don't have these big record deals anymore, and even a publishing deal is really hard, and no one really protects you. So you got to be really careful going in there. One thing I would suggest is don't do big, long, massive deals. So like, even if you are going to sign away something, try and make it for a short period of time, like a year or something, and make sure you get your music back. You know, there's a thing now, you know, with Def Leppard, you know, we was with a record label for 30 something years, and most of the time your music reverts back to you because a label actually owns you. They own, I don't know if you remember, Prince used to walk around with Slave on his face. That was because he didn't own his own music. You know, the label did. He signed something that was not that great. So he went through a whole thing like that. And you do get it back sometimes, eventually. But yeah, do things in a shorter span, and make sure you don't sign away your stuff forever. That would be my first tip. You know, obviously it's a lot deeper than that, and the more you find out about it, it's pretty, you know, it's cool. But you know, just be wary and actually don't sign everything away forever. I think with the internet and everything, it's great that you can actually do your own stuff, and you haven't got an A&R man and a label going, well, we need you to do this. So you artistically, it's wide open. You can do what you like. You know, we literally just done some Indian strings doubling one of my guitars on one of these new Def Leppard songs that we've been working on. And it's great, you know, and we haven't got anyone telling us, a label going, well, you know, this would be better, you know, more commercial if you tried this. So that's the great thing about the internet. The problem is, it's a really tough call. There's very few bands that become internet sensations. There's some great players out there, but even that, you know, that's one thing. And actually getting people to come and buy your stuff or even come and see you is a totally different thing. You know, there's people out there who have, you know, 1 million views because they're doing some wacky thing, but it actually means nothing. So you got to be aware of that as well. You know, and again, it keeps going back to that thing. The fulfillment comes from creating. So if that's your thing, everything else is a bonus. But just remember that that is the fulfillment thing, is the artistic expression. As for Def Leppard, you know, we've got so much going on at the moment. We're writing new songs. We was going to maybe put out a song or two, but we actually may put an album out, but that'll be probably next year. So we're working on that. We will be touring this year, and I'm also working on another project called Delta Deep, which is an extreme blues thing. I'm playing guitar and singing. Debbie Blackwell Cook, who's my wife Helen's godmother, she sings. She's got a killer voice, somewhere between Patti LaBelle and Shaka Khan. It kind of sounds like that. And Forrest Robinson on drums, who's killer. He used to play with the Crusaders, and just nuts. And also Robert DeLeo, who plays with the Stone Temple Pilots, is going to be playing bass. Also Paul Cook, who's in Man Ray and the Sex Pistols, is actually on one of the tracks as well. So it's really exciting stuff, and everyone's having a blast with that. So I'm silly busy. Def Leppard are going to be really busy. Like I said, we've got these great songs. I'm really excited about them. We're going to be touring, and yeah, we'll see you out there.